Welcome, everyone, to our Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library Trustees meeting of December 5th, 2023. Let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I forget, I got to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. And let's begin by welcoming our new interim director.
Thank you.
Cheryl Hansen, for those out in public land, has been with us for
3 weeks.
3 weeks. She's hit the ground running superbly. You will hear more about that in a few minutes when she does her report, but we are very happy to have her.
Thank you.
All right, let's review some minutes, please. We got 3 sets of minutes. Why don't we do them one at a time, please? And they were all sent to us electronically. So, reviewing the open meeting minutes from October 24th, 2023 first, please. Were there any corrections or additions that need to be made? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes as written for October 24th, 2023.
Motion, have a second?
A second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
One abstention.
I was not at the meeting.
That's right. Rick?
I did the same thing and people said you can still approve.
I know, but it just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't change the.
Doesn't make sense that
Yeah.
you would, because
Exactly, you don't, you
weren't
haven't here to
present.
talk about it. And for our minutes, I'm being amiss here. Joyce made the motion and Pat seconded, and it was unanimous with Richard.
4-1.
Richard abstaining, just so we get that into the video. Okay, let's go with November 1, please, minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written, November 1st, 2023.
Thank you, Joyce. Do I have a second?
A second.
Pat made the second. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous.
Abstain.
Oh, no, you're abstaining from that one too. Richard abstained from that one too. You missed that one too. Okay. And finally, the minutes from November 9th, 2023, please.
Excuse me.
I would, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the minutes for the November 9th, 2023 meeting as presented.
Okay, Richard's made the motion.
Second.
We have Pat making the second. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye.
I
Aye.
abstain.
Unanimous.
Okay, Joyce has abstained from this one, and I should also say that Adriana is not with us this evening, which she had told us earlier. All right, so we have 3 sets of minutes approved. Thank you. Staffing report. Youth Services Librarian position is posted, correct? That is correct, okay.
Where is it posted, Cheryl?
It's posted on the Mass Board of Library Commissioners website.
And anywhere else?
Nope, that's it. I mean, that's anyone who's looking for a job. That's where they typically go.
Can it be
library
posted out of state?
job. We can post it out of state. Would you like me to do that? I can do that.
Well, I just
What if
wonder if
we-
we should, because
I mean, we're a
it
border
just
town. It
widens
kinda
the
makes
pool
sense.
of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. either
We done that in the past, Pat? I'm
Connecticut
just-
and Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
for the director, I didn't know about the services.
Okay, so we have in the past, yeah.
I think we should.
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
I would think both Connecticut and Rhode Island would be viable markets.
Sure. Since our directors have not been from Massachusetts for
Yeah.
1, 2, the last few have been out of state, so you're very right, Joyce. It's,
So
yeah,
you want youth services in Connecticut and Rhode Island?
please.
Okay.
Does it cost to do that, Cheryl?
No.
It does in Connecticut.
Oh, it does in Connecticut?
Well, if the fee is really astronomical, I don't know.
I'll look into
$100.
I
it.
suspect that someone who might be interested in a position would probably be looking, if they're in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or Connecticut,
Yeah, I
looking at
mean,
all.
They're probably
three
doing
states
the
anyway.
reverse. Yeah, they're doing the reverse. They're living over the line going, well, I might as well look at Massachusetts.
Right, right.
That's
And
typically what happens.
how does the certification work? I mean, are they reciprocity between the different states?
They would have to contact the Mass Board of Library Commissioners and get a number. I mean, they'd have to show they had the credentials. It's mostly paperwork
Okay.
that they would have to do.
Good. All righty. So how do we leave that? Do we wish for her to post in Rhode Island or Connecticut if it costs money? Or do we wish to just
mean,
let
yes.
them look for us?
No, I think we should post it in Connecticut and Rhode Island.
Right. Unless, as Joyce mentioned, the cost is
It's
prohibitive.
astronomical, but if
Which
it's
is
$100.
unlikely, I
It was
suspect.
$100 the
I don't
last
think
time.
I
that's
think we can handle that.
astronomical.
I think we can handle that. Okay, good. All righty, library aid. Get us up to date on that one, please.
Okay, so Susan Gustafson retired as library aide after 5 years of service. She has agreed to stay on payroll as a sub, and she'll actually be here this Friday, subbing. Great. Because a couple staff members are going to the CPR training, so she's filling in that day. We also, can I just go over all the staff thing?
Go for it,
Okay.
yes.
We also hired Courtney Ekstrom, who was a part-time library aide, as a full-time library assistant. She's now working 37 and a half hours a week at the
Yay.
library and has some added duties with her new position, but that's been working out great. Lita Carroll, who was youth services librarian, not retired, but left us. Her last day was Thursday, November 30th. Hence, we're talking about the job posting. So that leaves us a little bit shorthanded now. But we also were able to post a part-time library aide position, and a former employee, Lena Costin, applied for that position, and we have hired her back. And she'll
many
start
hours?
18.25 hours. She'll start Monday.
Great. Welcome back.
That's going to help tremendously, and what that will do, will actually have enough people to cover the circulation desk without the director having to work the desk. Nice. Fantastic. So I think we're pretty whole.
It was great.
Like I said, she hit the road running. She's done her a lot.
That seems to have worked out as well as it could have,
Yes.
honestly. Good.
All righty. So that's everything but the permanent library director's position. And at this point, we're working with Michelle, who's the HR director for the town at this point. And we haven't posted it yet. We're working on that posting, correct? Okay.
I guess we just have to tell her that we're okay with what is sent, the final version of it.
Yeah, because we threw back and forth some language, and Pat updated, and Cheryl looked at it. I mean, different things have gone on. And then again, Michelle did say 5 days internal to me,
Yeah.
and then we can go external, and then as being the director, we will put it everywhere. That one definitely goes everywhere. And Michelle will be collecting the resumes, the interests. At this point, I've talked to Pat, and Pat is willing to step up to the plate and head a committee to review these. And then we've got to flesh out the committee.
So that's changed because
No.
we got the resumes, the last.
Yeah.
Now, I think Michelle is getting resumes this time. Now, I'm wondering if we, do we still need the search committee, or do we go right to trustees?
Our
What's
past
Michelle gonna do? Do we know what Michelle's gonna do with these resumes when she collects them?
Probably gonna send them to us and ask if we feel a person is qualified.
Right. directly to you, which as well it
Yeah,
should.
just-
Yeah, that's
Agreed.
kind of normal, yes.
We
Yes.
used to have a personnel board, obviously
Right.
no longer the case, and Michelle is fairly new to the position in terms of human resources, so I don't know that we have clear guidelines at this point.
I think, Michelle, it should probably be included in whatever whether we decide to do it just the trustees at this point, or create a search committee again, but I think Michelle should be invited to be.
Should
Oh,
be.
definitely.
I agree, yeah.
Yes, yes. I think we need a committee to look at this because, I mean, we've got to narrow it down to a couple that I think will come before the whole board, but I'd like to have a committee to narrow it down, and honestly, I'd like to see you there. I'd like Cheryl to be involved, if you wouldn't mind. I mean, she knows what's going on. And then, we may pick a couple more, but I mean, we don't want to overwhelm it, but,
Cheryl, Michelle,
yeah, there's 3 right there. Any interest from the rest of the board?
I'd be willing to.
Yeah, I could do it.
Again, it'll depend on your timing.
When were the interviews held, the last round? What were the times is what I'm asking?
I didn't memorize them, I'm sorry.
Oh, late
Like,
afternoon, early
mornings,
evening.
Evenings, like?
They were done in the late afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And tending, I think, towards the evening hours, because, you know, hopefully,
Depending-
that
depending
with
on-
likelihood,
Yeah.
we'll have someone who's, has a position currently, and
Right.
it would be
That makes
a
sense.
convenience to some extent, too.
Yeah.
Cheryl, okay. Just forward your interest to me and we'll put together maybe 1, maximum 2 more. I don't, you know, we don't want to go crazy with this. All right, and we'll just keep that moving. We'll get it posted 5 days within, then we'll get it out and we'll keep this moving. And like the other positions, we're putting it out there until the position's filled. We're not giving a deadline until the position's filled.
Actually, there was a deadline on this.
But didn't you change that?
I think it was February, I didn't know.
Oh.
It was
We should
on
change, we should
February.
change that.
I thought we were, yeah. That was a conversation I had with you, not you. Sorry.
I didn't filter down. Yeah, it was 2/1/2024 was the closing date on there.
Let's change that to,
I would think you'd want to tighten that up a little bit.
yeah, until the position's filled. That's always worked for us in the past.
Well, I think we're hoping that we'll have some opportunity for this person to meet and work with Cheryl for a bit, and the transition is as seamless as it can be.
Exactly.
As opposed to whatever else might happen.
Yes, I agree. All right. Any other comments, thoughts? All right. Director's report. You're first, please.
Okay, I'm not sure what you usually do, what your format is. The way we did it in Charlton, when I was in Charlton, is you had my written report and they kind of just asked me questions about it, but do you want me to go through the report?
If anyone,
And for the, you know, if someone were viewing the meeting, it might be of some.
Some highlights would be good,
Sure.
yes, please.
Just to let you know that I started working at the Pearl Crawford Library on November 14th. I work 30 hours a week over 4 consecutive days, and it's just temporary until we can hire a permanent director. I've been here 3 weeks, and the first few weeks have been taking up with a lot of housekeeping things, a lot of tracking down invoices, just drudgery, actually. But it needs to be done. It needs to be done to get things all on track and going in the right direction. Also, I've spent some time getting to know the staff, a little bit and finding out about them and.
As, if I may, is that drudgery, is that concluded, or is that still ongoing?
I think I'm seeing the
Don't
light
jinx
at
yourself.
the end of the tunnel.
Don't jinx yourself.
Finally.
Drudgery.
I think we're just about
I was calling it
there.
whack-a-mole. She'd get one thing done and something else would pop up.
It's getting better every day.
Getting
How's
better,
that?
that's good.
yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yep, so I've met with the town treasurer a couple of times, and he's been great, showing me the ropes as well. Just, again, going through some housekeeping things, going through some staff procedures, trying to streamline some activities to make them work maybe a little bit better. Just for example, some things that we worked on today were a better way to collect fine money and keep track of all that. Just some things that also thinking ahead to summer, which we had to order some materials for the summer reading program because the deadline was December 1st, which I kinda
So
found
far
out.
away to already.
It is,
be
it
done.
is, and
To think of summer, that's hard.
I knew you were gonna ask me that, and I do not remember. It's
Okay.
something with the environment and ecology. So, let's see, because we do not have a youth services librarian right now, we've kind of been trying to figure out what we're going to do about that and how much service we can provide while we don't have one. So I have contacted the Community Partnership Council to see if they could come in and help us out and do maybe a weekly program anyway. They have not responded to that yet. So there's another name that I have that I'm going to try next that can help hopefully do that. We also have a couple of outside performers coming in that have already been booked too. So there'll be something going on. It won't be as robust, you know, as it normally is, but we'll have something going on in the children's room.
So story hours?
There will be no regular story hours.
So no story hours during the week for the preschoolers.
No, we have nobody that can do those programs right now.
But the hope is that that is a temporary situation and.
Oh,
we'll get
no, I
past
know,
it.
I
So,
know.
I mean, it's not, it's now, but not forever.
Another thing that I reinstated was the Overdrive Marketplace, and I don't know if you know about Overdrive is the company that provides the ebooks and digital audios to libraries. So if you go in the Libby app, that's Overdrive. So I don't think that it was ever, we had an account, but I don't think that account was ever used before. We've had it since 2019.
And what do you mean by used before?
So what I do and what I have been doing here in Dudley is I can look and see how many holds Dudley residents have on certain items, on
Yep.
certain books. And what I typically do is if it has 3 or more holds from for Dudley residents, I will buy that ebook or that digital audio, and that will automatically go to the our Dudley patrons first.
Okay.
To get the hold list,
Yep.
you know, a lot shorter, so that they're not waiting as long for digital materials. So I've been checking that and buying, you know, as we go, as needed for that. Once it fulfills all those Dudley holds, I can then manually let them go to the rest of the CWMR system, and then it
Yep.
will also fulfill.
So we've had an account since 2019?
And as far as I can find, it was never used.
Really?
Oh, okay, well, I'm happy you using it.
Nice job.
Good. That's a plus.
I have been looking at the FY24 budget and kind of projecting a little bit ahead to FY25, because I know that will be coming up soon.
If I may, I believe the FAA starts meeting next month, in January. I don't know how else to put this, other than the fact that I think we have like 6 years, if you will, to sell the library again. I mean, when it was brought up as a possibility, as far as closure is concerned, that should have been shouted down from the get-go, never to be heard again, and it wasn't. It had a life of its own. And I think we have to, in that, I think a 6-year window, given the agreement with the MBLC that we have in place, I think we've got just that long to get this thing sold again to the community, to the town of Dudley, such that that question never comes up again. It's just not viable.
I think, honestly, I think the public was pretty much sold on during the process. It's the powers that be were not. And if we're gonna have to, as you say, continually remind them how important it is to the public of Dudley.
Well, them and the public, the residents as well. I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
you know,
but I mean,
it's-
I think they heard it from the public, thankfully. But I mean, we've gotta keep it in front of them.
Right, I honestly, I hate to think of what would have happened if we didn't have that hammer in the toolkit.
If we didn't have that lovely little loan.
In place, yeah, in the terms of that, well, I may be exaggerating this, but I think we were a lot closer to something we didn't want to happen than we'll ever
Exactly.
want it, ever want that to come back again as even a remote possibility.
True. True.
So the budget this year, FY '24, is actually looking pretty good. We'll have enough money to pay the staff. We've got, with the added hours, and probably have a little bit left over from what I've calculated. FY '24.
If I may, just to hit on that again, I talked to Cheryl, we had a brief conversation the other day, and one of the things that seems to sell, at least as far as the folks that sit in these chairs on a regular basis, is that comparison. The Dudley tax rate is so much less than Auburn, and it's so much less than Southbridge, and my God, you get a heck of a bargain. If you lived in Charlton, you'd be destitute. They love those lovely numbers and comparisons. And looking at some of the libraries in the district, I think we could make a case. I think Charlton went over $500,000. Southbridge is over $500,000. The numbers.
We are much lower, yes.
In that line of reasoning, our numbers, we look like a bargain. And I think that the masses, that sells well.
Yeah,
Or at
that's a
least
good
that
point.
seems to be the stick that these gentlemen like to make use of from time to time.
No, that's a good point, because we have used that in the past, but we should use it constantly. The numbers, just take the 6 towns around us, and we're always at the lowest for the library. Yeah. Good point.
So I attached the program information for November. 34 programs with 332 participants in those programs. And honestly, November, December, January are typically lower numbered months in any library, just because people are so busy with the holidays. Those numbers weren't
And
bad.
illnesses seem to be very high. Very high right now. It's crazy.
And the other thing that I did add that I don't think had been reported on in the past were the circulation numbers on that extra page there.
That's a fantastic page, yeah. That shows me viability of your library.
I think you're absolutely right, and those are important numbers.
How many card-carrying members do we have?
That's a good question. I have not looked at that. That's very easy to find.
Right.
Seconds, I can get that, but I have not looked at that yet. It's been 3 weeks, Richard.
An amazing 3 weeks. Made a lot of progress in 3 weeks. Thank you.
We really should reach out to Webster Times and have them come and maybe stop in and visit, because we have a new acting director, because it was talked about in the paper so much. But those would
Good
be
point.
interesting numbers to share. Be like, Dudley's small but powerful. This is what we have for card-carrying members. We have, in the month of November, we had 30-plus activities. We had over 300 people that came and actually used those individuals. That doesn't include all the people who walked through the door and used our materials. I
Or
think
the people
that,
that just come in and use the computers,
Yep.
or
Right.
even the copy machine.
Right.
There's
Sit
many,
and read a
you know,
magazine
and
or
they
the
just- Right,
newspaper,
right.
yeah.
They sit and
Yep.
read. There's many people that I've noticed that come in almost every day and sit and read the
More and more,
newspapers,
yeah.
or,
Yes.
do their work on their laptop, or,
Yeah, it's a comfortable place.
so there's, a lot of different ways to use the library.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of those ways, which we had total digital circulation in November of 1,063. A lot of those people never even walk in our doors, but they're heavy library users. So those are library users as well.
Can you get these numbers for the area
I
libraries?
did get those numbers if you want me.
You said 1,063. What was that referencing?
Right there.
Oh.
That is the
I
combination
get-
ebooks, digital,
maybe it's another
audio,
page.
Yeah.
It is, I have it right here if you want.
There
Now-
we go.
Does that, what about hits on the website? Is that,
I do not have that. I believe I can get that information.
I mean, people looking.
Usually you can, usually you
Yeah,
can.
well,
I have not looked at that.
the more numbers in this situation, I think the better off we are, and the bigger the numbers, even better still.
Well, our website is in the process of being updated, so once it's updated,
Excellent.
I know that
Okay.
we'll be able to do
Very
that
happy
for
to
sure.
hear that. Very happy.
Back to circulation, did you look at them?
The surrounding towns?
Yes.
I did.
And?
Do we want to know?
I actually looked a lot at circulation, because I really enjoy trying to figure out statistics. And when you do circulation, if you're comparing, like we have these are November 2023 statistics, you would compare those with November 2022. You wouldn't compare it with October, because every month is different as far as library use. I mean, July is usually crazy, a lot higher, so you compare it over the years the same month. Having said that, when I was looking at it, I didn't have all the November numbers. Those just came out obviously December 1st, but I looked October, previous Octobers.
October to
Yeah,
October.
and what I found is, actually, for this past October, we were about the same as November. Let me just see what my papers. Historical circulation. So October 2023, we were 3,388 items, so close to what we were this month. October of 22, we were almost the same, 3,301. October of 21, again, almost the same, 3,302.
Oh, wow.
That's so funny.
And then we had COVID. So October 31st, 2020, we were 856.
COVID.
But what I
takes-
was
yeah.
interested in finding out, which I did, was this October 2019 number. And that was 5,707. So it's a lot higher than it was now. In October, I only went back to October 2018, and that was 4,486. So it seems like October 2018, that was a decent number, and then we went up,
Oh,
jumped
yeah.
quite a bit the next
Substantially, yeah.
year, and then COVID hit, and we all went down at that time.
What was this, the 5,000?
707.
5,787, was it? 5,707 in October 19.
I think we were
So-
the last library in the area to open after COVID, and that was only.
We know we
because
were.
the trustees-
We pushed, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was working at Charlton at that time, and we did get a lot of Dudley
Yep.
people at that time. I think the majority of them went back to Dudley though.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't necessarily stay. People tend to go where it's more convenient for them
I
to
was
go.
just gonna say,
you
yeah,
know, I
they,
mean, that's-
people roam.
Right, or
roam.
go to multiple libraries.
Yep.
So we haven't quite gotten back to those pre-COVID numbers, which kind of concerns me. About why haven't we, and what can we do to get
A
back
lot
to
of
those
people
numbers?
have learned a lot more about technology, and we'll say
I
that.
think, and right, and I think they were forced into that because during COVID, that's when the digital
That's-
really went up.
yes.
The
Yep.
ebook collections and digital audio numbers went crazy. Yeah.
But being the statistic,
And people stay with
statistician that you are,
Yes, yeah.
have you kept track of like Charlton or Webster or anything? Have they come back since COVID?
They have.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
are we-
I
are
can
we-
tell you for sure Charlton did because I was there. But just to give you a comparison number, these are the November 2023 physical circ numbers for the surrounding towns. Again, we were 3278 in November. Webster was 3360. Charlton was 7,181.
7,000.
Southbridge was 3,662. Sturbridge was 4,720. That was surprising to me because I've been tracking these numbers for years. And Sturbridge is usually more than Charlton, but they're actually going through a HVAC renovation project right now. So most of their library is closed, so it's
Okay.
because they're only open. Oxford was 5,196 and Douglas was 2,218.
What was that Charlton number? I'm sorry.
Charlton was
That-
7,108.
7,000.
And you would know, that's
That is-
normal
no,
for
that
Charlton?
is- That's a normal number.
Okay.
It's, yeah.
When did the Webster new library open?
It's been a while now, time
Yeah.
flies, and it's probably
I'm
longer
gonna
than
say
we think.
five.
I was gonna say
Five or
five.
I'm gonna say 5 years.
At least 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
at
what are we
least
at?
5.
I can
So,
tell you
but
that
our
Karen
numbers are
Wall was
comp-
the director here because she and I went and visited together before it was open, so I know Karen was
numbers
whatever
are-
year that was.
Probably
she was
Numbers are
still here.
comparable to Webster. Our numbers are comparable to Webster.
Your numbers, again, I've been tracking this for years. Your numbers have always been comparable to Webster and Southbridge.
I think it begs the question, though, is what is Charlton doing? That number is so much larger than the
no,
others.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
yes,
still a
well,
good
if you
number, and
brought
I'm
the
okay with
magic
that.
with you, I guess would be maybe that's the answer to the
Well,
question.
hopefully a new director is gonna bring on some new fire, new programs, bring in more patrons.
What's
and
the difference in the
interest.
population?
We're about 12 in
Yeah,
Webster.
Charlton's about
Dudley, rather.
a little higher, but not much. I mean,
Not
Charlton's a little more, Webster's a bit more.
Yeah, Webster's more.
Yeah, but Webster's a bit more than us.
Right.
We're 11.5, they're probably up around
No,
15.
we're closer to 12 now.
Okay. But Webster's above, like, they were like
16,
15,
I think,
16, yeah,
something.
they're up there. But just, yeah, it's
So
interesting.
that's kind of a wash. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the measurement we want to, what we want to put our focus on is those folks
Who's
in
coming
Charlton.
in?
How many, I'm a big advocate of don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, how many
Yeah.
wheels can we steal?
But
So I've been
the
talking
kids
to
in
the staff
schools
about
are
what we
close.
can do to
Oh,
try to
good.
get more people in. And we are throwing around a few ideas that hopefully will work.
Oh, somebody raising their hand back there.
Yes, ma'am. Ask.
I have a comment from the peanut gallery.
Please.
Oh,
I read about 10 to 12 books a month. I've had to resort to going to Webster simply because if you compare what they have on their shelf to Barnes and Noble, they are almost on cue to what Barnes and Noble has on their shelf.
So you're
With
talking about
new
new books,
releases.
new
And, all right,
releases.
And you're probably right, and we are addressing that problem, because we have talked about that, and
Versus Dudley, by the time I could get the book,
Yeah.
the book is already,
you're absolutely
I've already
right.
read it on my Kindle.
Oh, you're
I
absolutely right.
prefer to hold books in my hand.
all right.
on my Kindle.
So
Thank
is
you.
it, what would you say, it's
All
a
right.
purchasing thing that
It's
we're
definitely a
not getting
purchasing thing,
things?
and we have changed that already, because, so now, what I've been doing is in November, I order all the books that are going to be published in December, so that they come as, most books are published on Tuesdays, so they come on Tuesdays as soon as
Nice.
they're released.
Yep, yep.
I believe in the past, what I've been told is that the order wouldn't go in till the end of the month for that month, so you're not getting those books and getting them processed.
You don't have the
for a
first
month
hit.
later.
Oh, yeah.
Can we make that known on the website that, we're gearing up for, to reflect the bestsellers list as identified by Barnes and Noble or something, and, to stay tuned for?
I mean, I think you've always had the bestsellers. I think it's just
A
that
little
they haven't
delay.
hit the shelves in a
Little
timely
delay.
manner.
Right.
Okay.
So we're working on that, and we're also
Yeah.
working on giving our cataloger, who is also, works the circulation desk, some dedicated cataloging hours to
Excellent.
get those materials out in a more timely manner when they come in too. So
Because
definitely address
if somebody like Amanda was going to,
This is great. Thank you, Amanda.
if somebody was going to be looking for it and they saw that Dudley came up on the list, that might entice her to,
Yep.
or others like her to come in and look and see exactly what's on our shelves.
Well, for example, I mean, how many copies of anything is Webster will Webster have? Once that number is exhausted, then they see that it's Dudley, it's just across the river, an easy trip, and it's out.
So hopefully that, we've already solved
Yeah.
that issue.
Fantastic.
that issue.
Cool.
Yep.
I noticed, going back
Again, I
to,
just call those the housekeeping things that we're
Yeah.
doing, just
Yeah.
different procedures,
how
procedural.
about
things.
young adult materials in electronic format 3, young adult video cassettes, DVDs 2. I don't know, I've been in the library a couple times this week, and it seems that that young adult room doesn't get a whole lot of use. I know the kids are in
I
school.
will agree with you. I will agree with you.
I don't know how we can, we put a pizza oven in there or a
That's always been
popcorn
an
machine or
issue, yeah.
something that, I mean,
Although, I'll be honest with you, that 83 number, that number is higher than we were most months in Charlton. for
the adult book, the
adults.
young adult books, yeah.
But I agree, though, that room that's a beautiful room, it should be getting used more.
Yeah, I know that the school schedule obviously works against that during the afternoon or early, well, morning and afternoons, but to your point, it is a dedicated facility basically for a certain group, and we don't seem to be getting that participation.
In talking to the staff, have you gotten any feedback on that topic?
On the YAs?
Yeah, yes.
No. They said they used to have a core group, that would come in, all the time
Exactly.
and be, and they're not really sure, if they just
Not
aged
sure.
out of that,
Yeah.
that area.
No, I just was
or-
curious whether we had shunned a few.
No, I don't think so.
age
I
group
don't, I
in
don't
the
think
past.
so.
It had
No.
nothing to
Okay.
do with that again,
Because we did have, as you say, we had a great core that would, sometimes had to be calmed down occasionally, but they were there. They were,
And I don't know, in the past, did you offer YA programming, specific to young adults?
They worked at it for a while. They actually had a committee, a YA committee, a couple teens, and they would, throw pizza at them and then discuss what they wanted to do, and they did a few things, and that happened for a while, but I don't know when that stopped, honestly.
One of my daughters used to be involved in that group, and she also did some volunteer hours at the library and helped with programming and so forth. So, I mean, that was like 10 years ago, but she loved it. And I know that she had a group of friends that she met there with. And then she went to Bay Path and she had a core group there, and they would go to the Charlton Library.
Well, I mean, it is
Well,
it is
just
close.
because of
It is
geography.
close, right? It is close.
Yeah, well, actually, it was an anime group that she was involved with over there.
Yep.
But just, as kind of a point of reference.
All right, and that's a great point, but here's what you have to think about also, what we're competing with. Charlton has a youth services librarian, she has an assistant, she has a circulation person, she has a high school page, I mean, all in that area. So they can do so much more programming because they have the staff to do it.
Yep.
So they have the assistant, who kind of focuses on the younger kids, and the youth services librarian kind of focuses on the teens, and maybe someday.
Well, definitely it's a challenge, that's for sure, but,
I
If,
wonder,
if we get the right person to fill the youth services position too, hopefully,
Yeah.
we can get
True.
some of that back.
and I wonder if we put the buzz out there, because people are still reading. And there are definitely still young adults that are reading. As you can tell when you go into Barnes and Noble, there's tons of kids in there. So it might be worth just putting it out there and saying, hey, young adults, we're wondering, what are you looking for in your library? Or something like that, and maybe we can drum up some interest that way.
And maybe on social media, because it seems to be our social media is very program driven. Maybe we can start showcasing some of the collections.
Amanda's
too, that we
shaking her
have.
head, yes. She agrees. There you go, yep.
Wanda, did we ever have a, we have the book club, like I don't know if they're doing it
The
right
adults?
now.
Yeah,
Could we do that for like a team down the road when we have,
And staffing,
when we
again,
have staffing,
find
is that
somebody to.
something to, bring in some kids, some groups, advertise it on some of the social media and see if we get.
the great thing is if you can bring the kids in and they'll age into adulthood,
Well,
and
they
they'll
tend to
come
bring
back
friends.
and then
They do
they're-
bring friends,
Get the-
you're right.
Friends.
Get the ball
And to
rolling.
do that, it's important to have a youth services librarian who
Right.
does work an evening as
Yes.
well, because
Yeah.
Well, that's a goal.
Getting to know our staff better, do we have someone who's kind of geared towards that age group? I don't know our staff well enough to think if we, could try to give one of our staff
Yeah,
members,
I could think of somebody that I might ask maybe if they'd be interested in
just,
doing something like that.
I know we can't, being on the circulation desk, they don't have a lot of time to be in there too. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could just nudge somebody in that direction, because if we get another position that's gonna grow, maybe grow it in that direction.
Yep.
Cheryl, I noticed that one of your notes in here did say that you felt the salary range that HR had provided for the youth service librarian was too low. How did that discussion go, and where are we with that?
Actually, it went very well. I kind of informally met with Michelle and John about it, and they changed it.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you for making that.
be competitive.
Again,
Thank you
she
for
looked at,
advocating.
she looked at her statistics, and she saw that we're
But I
not
mean,
gonna
you
get
can-
somebody.
You can
The
report
numbers-
on that.
the
You have
numbers speak.
statistics,
She
and that's
did.
what you can
Yeah.
report on.
Okay.
Like, yeah, thank you for advocating for that, because we needed that.
Yeah.
My question, Cheryl, would be, how are we doing in tracking down the unpaid bills? How are you doing in that? Kinda got left in a,
It has, and we've been working in today, as a matter of fact. There were some issues.
Yep.
So we have been working on some new procedures to better, I want to say what the problem has been, not so much getting the materials back. The problem that we're having now is that we're actually sending out bills to people who have returned those materials.
Oh.
So, which is not a good look.
no.
So we're working on some procedures right now. That's what Ann and I were discussing about. So what can we do to make sure that never happens again. Because it's been
So they've
happening more than
returned the book
I
and it
like.
hasn't been clocked into the
It
system?
hasn't, right, it hasn't been checked in, so it
It's getting
gets.
put
So
on
is it the
shelf.
system that's not
Or
doing it?
another case of that is, or the person has actually paid for the lost material.
Yep.
And the staff has not taken, that off their account.
Oh, I
So they're
see.
getting a bill even though they paid for it.
Oh.
So it's following up with staff to make sure that they do this in different situations.
And I'm just gonna tell you that I wasn't even going in that direction. I was talking about unpaid bills of ours. Like not unpaid bills for
Oh, I
paid.
thought
Library
you meant
bills.
like.
I'm
bills
talking
going out.
Suppliers or
about
something.
unpaid bills of ours.
Okay. I think I have them all tracked down, and I think everything is paid now. The other thing that I was finding is where you didn't have a director and you just had people filling in.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
sometimes they were being paid, but they weren't being subtracted from the budget. So I went line by line, every bill that's been paid since July to make sure that it was subtracted from the budget.
Okay.
You love a challenge.
I don't know, I think it's why I'm not
Thank you,
sleeping.
Cheryl.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Cheryl. Thank you.
My goal is to get everything under control for the next person, so
Yeah.
they don't have to deal
Yes.
with this,
Right.
you know, kind of drudgery, awful stuff to deal with that nobody likes to deal with, that they can kind of just jump in and start with the important things.
If I may, the circulation number, let's say books, occasionally I get things through CW Mars and coming out, the last one I had come out of Lancaster. They reflected in
Yes,
here?
those are, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know something that we've talked about recently, I think it might have just been Ben and myself. We used to have self-checkouts.
Yeah.
Are we not doing that anymore, or are we gonna look into
Honestly,
fixing that?
I do not know where they are. They must be in the back room somewhere. Honestly, I
It is,
haven't
yeah.
had time to even think about that right now.
Put that on your list down the road.
I think I read
Is
this.
that there? Oh,
It's
really?
there.
I am sorry.
It's
I'm
there.
going ahead of the thing?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay, it's all right.
Oh, we have an agenda item?
Yeah, we have,
Yes.
we're getting
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. Oops.
Okay, anything else
I've been more
for?
focused this week on making sure the public computers are working. Those have been,
Okay.
Computers have been an issue.
just to let you know, our digital circulation compares well with the other
Oh,
libraries.
good, thank you. Interesting. Okay. Okay, any other questions for Cheryl before we move on? I'm sure there'll be more come up, there'll be more that pop up. Programs, December programs?
December programs, upcoming programs. Next Thursday at 6 o'clock, we have David Polanski, who's coming for some family entertainment. I've seen him many times over the years. He always puts on a fantastic show. So we hope some people come out for that. And I'm sure he'll throw in some holiday things, seeing it's December.
And can you say the date again? It's Thursday
Thursday, December 14th.
Thank you.
at 6 o'clock?
Yep.
Isn't there, or did it already happen, Shepherd Hill?
Shepherd Hill came this past Saturday.
Oh, they
Saturday?
came this
Yep,
past
yep, they
Saturday.
did.
How was it?
How was that?
They had 26 people that came.
I was there, it was very
Nice.
nice, very nice. Yeah, there were 26.
So, and
That
now
include-
that we have more of a full staff where I don't have to be a body during the day on Thursday, I am going to start being there on Thursday evenings instead, where that's when most of the programs, are happening, so that I'll be there to do some introductions and, that kind of thing.
The kids did an excellent job, and I'll give them a little push. They're going to have their winter spectacular up at Shepherd
Yes,
Hill
this weekend.
This weekend, so look at Shepherd Hill's calendar if you all want to do it. This was like a
Spectacular show.
it is.
Yeah.
And this
Pre-show.
was a pre-show. They did about a half an hour of what they're all going to be doing this weekend, so.
Nice.
Get out there and see it because it's fabulous. I mean, yeah, it was fun to watch.
So I've been working on booking some programs for the upcoming months as well, adult programs for the upcoming months. Here's the thing I kind of wanted to put out there for you, and I know that over the years you had the Pearl Jam, which is always kind of a music program. I I think that maybe, I'm not saying get rid of the Pearl Jam, but I'm saying not every month have it be the Pearl Jam and a music program. Kind of branch out to some other types of programs for adults rather than just only music.
I agree 100%.
So I've been looking into some of those kinds of things. I did already book, a music program for St. Patrick's Day program, but I think for January and February, I've been looking for other types of performers that might appeal to adults.
It's always nice to change it up.
Variety,
Yep.
yep,
I do
spice
like
of
that.
life.
So I just didn't know if you
Like
were
that.
married to the whole Pearl Jam,
No.
every month kind of thing.
No. Good. Good.
So I will
We are open.
I will pursue that more
We
than.
like to brainstorm and have
Yes.
fresh ideas, so I like that.
Story times, you already said that until we get a youth services
Right,
person.
be on hiatus.
Last night, evening, a story time, which different people have been helping out with, did not happen because we did not have a reader, but at the same time, we only had 2 people show up, an adult
okay.
and a child, so that happened. But that's not on Cheryl, that was kind of came from us.
That is on
That came
us.
from us. So I actually, if Adriana was here,
apologize.
I'm actually gonna ask Adriana to make sure that happens on a weekly pace, because she's the one who
Well, we
pushed
need a
for it well.
calendar. We
And
need a
let's put
calendar.
it, get it organized, and, because we've had some great, we have another principal coming up. Last week's principal was fabulous, we had, how many people there?
19?
19 of us, yeah, it was great, we had.
19 or 21?
Yeah, we had, it's been good.
I
And-
will
and-
be there the next 2 Mondays.
Okay,
And then we're off for a couple with Christmas and New Year's, but I will be there the next 2 Mondays.
but I'm gonna ask Adriana to
Yep.
set the calendar and keep track of it, and touch base with you like the day before, me the day before, to make sure it's all happening. Just, we can take that off. Cheryl,
That was poor communication.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry.
Well, and if you can just let me know though who it's going to be, because then.
Oh,
we
you
can
wanna know what's going on in the
We
library?
can promote what we can promote it on
If we
social
Exactly.
media.
if we
Right.
create a calendar, that would,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
everybody has access to. That
But
would
we
be
have,
great.
we have Mrs. Desto coming December 18th, so everybody.
Yes.
Yep.
For that,
I
that'd
think
be
Yes.
she
great.
wanted that to be a surprise. I don't think she wanted that announced.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I think she wanted that to be a surprise.
But we had already talked about it.
well.
Oh, you did? Oh,
We-
yeah, then.
Thousands of viewers
I had
will
heard her
probably
name.
pick that up now.
I-
we
I
know
heard her
she's
name that
we
she
know
was
she's
going, yeah.
coming, But yeah, I don't think she
No
was.
kids will be watching this anyway, I'm
but we-
sure.
But that, I think that's how we got so many last week, because.
She announced it at school.
She announced it at school
Right at the end of
last
the
week.
day.
And we got oh, this is great. It was fun. It was fun. All righty, budget update you already did, we're good there. Facility update, rug cleaning and furniture reupholstery. Now, we've had on our radar screen for months the idea of replacing rugs and the idea of getting some upholstering done. And I'm gonna thank Joyce.
If you'd like to see pictures, I have pictures, Richard.
I was gonna say, good eye,
Richard was the
Joyce.
only one that wasn't here.
Good
I
Eye
think.
Joyce really went through the library one evening, and I was actually in the kids' room, and she came through and said, why?
for you.
I mean, it was an
you.
excellent
There's-
question, why? Because,
Yeah.
and then I actually, it woke me up to actually really go look at it. And we have higher priorities, let's
Yes.
put it that way. We have higher priorities.
At this point in time, I wouldn't support.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, I
would
mean.
not support
We
carpeting.
have done the carpet cleaning, I remember. it was
Cleaning,
a
and that's
weekend-
what we
On
should-
a weekend, on a day we were closed, I think we did it around Thanksgiving time some years
I
ago.
don't recall, but I know it was.
I know
a
we've
long
done it,
weekend.
but I
The guy
I know
comes in
during
with the
COVID
whole
it
thing, and it's a
happened.
full day
During
deal,
COVID
Yes.
pretty
it
much, yeah.
happened.
And I could not tell you the last time it happened, but I mean, this should be an annual event.
I
With this
agree.
many, especially the kid, I mean,
This
the
was
whole
pre-
library should be done.
This was pre-COVID.
I think we did do
We
it
did
once
do it
during
once
COVID.
during
We
COVID.
I think we did do it once during
Well, the one that
COVID.
I recall is pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Because I remember she had the
Um,
dog on the sofa after.
Ask some of the staff, they might remember, please.
But I mean,
might
I would
keep-
volunteer to come in if we can find a company, which I'm sure if you plan it far enough in advance, they would accommodate us. But to come in on a Saturday at like noontime and start, I will stay until they're finished. So
Right.
the staff can leave when they need to leave, and then a long weekend.
If we get a
plan it on
Monday
long
off, weekend, yeah. Yep.
Then it's got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to dry.
Right. I agree, I totally agree.
I have no problem with that, but it does need to be cleaned.
I don't recall the exact timing of it, but I know that I was there the day that was done, and it was closed, it was the day the library was closed. Might have been the day after Thanksgiving. This is some years ago. And
That
it
would
took
make
a
sense.
full day, pretty much, for
Oh, yeah,
him to
that's
get
a
through the building.
big deal.
And he
sure.
to set his apparatus up and to bring it in, and he basically leaves the door open so he can
Yep.
get, get his stuff in the door.
And I mean, companies understand a business that they're gonna come in and we want it done kind of after hours.
Right.
So I mean, I think they will accommodate our schedule to some extent.
I
have no idea if that
When you
would
say
be
it
in
takes
going
the whole
back to
day, I don't want the
fire.
library closed is what I'm saying.
Well,
Right.
the building was closed to the public, and we did have, honestly, we
Yeah.
did have some people, as I recall, that showed up because they saw the door open, they saw
I
vehicles
do
there.
remember that.
And we had to
They
thank you
said we
very
had to
much.
shoo them
but-
away. I do remember
But we're
that.
closed
Yeah.
for cleaning, and whoever did that was very easy to deal with, and
Yeah.
maybe there's a record of who
I
it
don't
was.
know if we have records of that, but we'll have to look for that one.
We could get them back, I don't remember the
But
gentleman's
not a
name.
bad idea to send out to bid anyway,
Yeah,
because you
I
would
would-
never just
yeah.
go with one person.
Yeah,
Yeah, we definitely don't have to use the same person we used.
no,
And I wouldn't recommend doing it I mean, you have to think about this and we should talk about it, but I wouldn't necessarily do it before the snow flies because rugs get filthy in the
Right, you're better
in the
off doing it
winter.
in the spring.
wait till the
Yeah.
spring.
Yep, yep.
Speaking on that, my next thing would be, I don't know if we rented them or we have them in stock, but we used to have mats that got put down.
Yep,
We have those.
yep, George is going to put
Those are
them down
ours.
this week.
Oh, only because
Excellent.
I noticed today coming to this meeting, all the roads have been treated.
Yes, they
Yes.
have.
So I was like,
Oh, what?
oh, so
Yep,
that
no, he
triggered
talked-
in
he
my
talked to me
brain
about it this week,
carpeting
yeah.
and
Good job.
That's a
I was
good
like,
question.
we really need to
Why
have
did they
those
treat the
mats
roads?
down.
Because of the temperature.
Weather.
The
It was,
temperature?
it was cold, yeah, it was 36 when I left Worcester today, so.
But I think we are
It was
getting,
dropping.
we
We
have
are
a
supposed to
chance
get-
of weather.
Yes, and this morning was disastrous if you were north of Worcester, because there was an accident out in Northborough, and there was an accident on
146,
290,
it
there
was
was an
a
accident on
hideous accident on 146
on
in the Sutton area.
146,
I mean,
blocked
there
the
was,
center aisle on, yeah, it was a
that
train
side
wreck out
was
there.
Closed entirely, it was trucks and.
So 290 and 190
vehicles,
had two
mess.
big accidents with a tractor trailer this morning, so it was a mess if you were coming that way.
It just seemed a little,
I think it's the temperature, because it really was cold, and I think that's why they've probably treated the roads.
So, we will,
So
Look
mats
for-
for my.
mats
my
are
thing was
coming.
Mats to be put down.
Matt's, George is good, George will take care of us. And then, as you say, we'll do a big cleaning.
I would
again.
say
We'll
maybe
look-
April, like if they're a long
We'll look
weekend
for
in
a long
April,
weekend.
we have all
yeah.
that
A
time
good-
to.
Are we closed on Good Friday?
No, not
No,
normally.
okay, I'm just thinking,
I
what
don't
what could be in the
know.
spring?
Patriots Day.
Patriots Day?
Yes,
Yeah,
but-
okay, we'll look at that. Okay, self-checkouts to be worked on, but again, right now, enough's on our plate at the moment. Yeah, but yeah,
But that's on
that
the
was,
list.
yeah, that is on the list.
Doesn't have to
I,
be top,
if
but-
I may.
Yes.
Pat, maybe you call this, on. I think the situation with that was that the software needed to be updated, or our license had expired, and the company that we were originally dealing with went out of business. They were bought by something called Biblioteca, if I'm not mistaken, and the numbers were just tens of
I
thousands
think it
of
was
dollars. The
IBM
number
we
went
started
crazy.
with. It was IBM we started with, and parts were hard to find. Basically, we have to restart the whole process
Pretty much,
almost,
yeah.
and it's costly.
I think software came in and Drusilla was going to try to install it and do whatever
Oh.
she could, and then COVID came, the plexiglass went up, so the.
She had some connection with somebody at CW Mars who thought they could finagle their way around the software. And it sounded, it was very optimistic at one point, and then it just kind of
Just
fell
didn't
off a
happen.
cliff and never happened. And whether that was even a viable, if that was an option or not, seemed a
Yeah.
little bit of a reach, but
Did they get
there
used
was
a
a
lot when you had them up and
I'm
running?
sorry?
Yeah.
they
Yes,
did,
yeah, because we,
kids
part of
love
how we sold the library is that we were not going to increase the staffing
Yeah.
from the little library to this, and we didn't, but we decided we had to have automated people. And so the two self-checks, and they were used a lot. The kids loved them. And then our regulars, who, didn't have to catch up with one of our staff members
Right.
socially. They would just come through and just go, and it just worked out really well. It'd be nice to have them back again, because they did help. Yeah. So,
for a reasonable cost.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's possible anymore.
All righty. Photo policy, which came up.
That was great that got brought up.
Yes, it really is. And did everyone see
Yes.
this? Okay. Does it cover everything? Anybody have comments?
I don't have any comments.
Steal it.
I was going to say, we do not have to reinvent the wheel, folks.
All right.
this
Just as a
came from
point of
someplace
emphasis,
else, too.
if you look at last week's
Oh, this
edition of
was
the Webster
during
Times,
my time.
on the page, I mean, there's kids all over the place. So,
I'm sure it did.
and what sells? Kids and dogs. I mean, if you can get a kennel club in there with some young dog handlers, we'd be golden.
Retrievers?
I'm sorry?
Retrievers.
Well, or whatever.
So what's your druthers on the, do we wish to entertain this tonight? Because, I mean, we've all had time to look at it. I mean, if there's an issue, we could always amend it.
Let me, well,
Go
ask
ahead.
Cheryl, you personal experience with this, were there any problems with regards to this policy and the Charlton experience?
We didn't, but I mean, the reason you have policies is so that if there is a problem, you have the policy to back you up.
Right.
And I don't remember us having a problem with any, since I've been on the board, I don't remember hearing any at least.
Well, they used
And
to
if
ask.
anybody had asked me when I took pictures, I would have, you know, because I understand foster families, the children can't be photographed, and, like, there are circumstances that children can't be photographed. I would have, you know.
And in the past, we have, the staff has asked, when there, because we have a camera somewhere, and I haven't seen it used in ages, and we would have the staff using a real camera back in the day, and it would be asked. That did happen, but,
Does anyone,
Yeah.
have an issue with having
Right.
a child or themselves?
So having this policy, if we accept this policy, we have to ask, we have to have them sign? No. That policy covers us taking photos and posting.
Well, if you read the second paragraph, it pretty much,
I
you know,
did.
library staff will notify members of the public when photography and video recording is taking place, and any patrons and/or their children who do not want to be photographed or recorded will be accommodated.
so it just has to become part of the process, that when we're having a program, or we're doing anything in the library, if
Picture
somebody's
taking.
taking pictures, you just
Some picture,
offer.
yeah.
Do you want out? That's fine and dandy.
Mr. Chairman, I would
Yes.
move that we accept the policy as identified here with the change that Charlton Public Library be changed to Dudley Public
Dudley.
Library or the
Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library. There we go.
Second?
All righty, so we have a motion to accept this absconded
seconded.
policy. Oh. And we have a second. Richard has made the motion and Joyce has seconded.
Nope, Pat
Pat
seconded.
Pat seconded, okay. Do we have any other comments?
So Mike, I'm just gonna ask
Go
a
ahead.
quick question.
Go
So if you were having an event at the library, would you, at the beginning of it, say, you know, we are taking photographs, or, you know, there may be video going on at this time. If you have a concern about that or what have you, please, you know, address your concern, or what, like, how would you handle it? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I guess I would just make the comment that we may be taking pictures and posting to our website or our social media accounts. And
That-
does
I would
anybody
say-
have a
yeah, I
problem,
would say
a problem with that?
That's probably all I would say,
Yeah,
and they will
exactly.
approach you
Right,
if,
yeah,
or they will
yeah.
move so that they're
Right.
not
Exactly.
in a photo.
Okay.
I mean, it was never a real issue. I mean, Charlton, we posted pictures all the time on our website.
Was it ever
Social media.
posted in a public forum, like in our meeting room where most of the programs happen? Was it ever posted anywhere? Just on our
We
website?
never had it, I
No,
don't think.
I agree, we never have, and you never did in Charlton. No, I don't see we have to go
So
that far.
when I was teaching, we had to have parents sign permission for us to
Right,
use their
right.
child's photo every year, and we could never include the child's name. So it would just be on our website, or it would be in our classroom, like our web page or what have you. But there were no names that were included, so if.
Right, we never put names.
Right, so if somebody was going to like put up, you know, like these are some events that happened at the library or what have you, and it was, you know, the singers or what have you from Shepherd Hill, and you were taking a picture of, you know, two people sitting that were listening or clapping or what have you, you could use that picture next year, perhaps, to promote whatever the event
Yeah.
was going to be. So once the person was there and allowed their picture to be taken, it then became property of the library or a property of the school. I just want to touch on it
No,
before
thank you, yeah.
we go down the road and then it does come back at us somehow. And I don't think having it posted is necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, it can go on our website,
Yes, yeah.
you know, that's an easy one.
Absolutely.
So when we list a program, it's just gonna be like, this meeting is recorded, it'll be on
Yeah.
every program, that photos may be taken and used for publicity and posted on our website and local media? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to go that far.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
like I said, yeah.
Where are we posting it then? Like, I don't understand.
Just
where
have it
we're
on the
gonna post
website, that's what I'm putting in,
Or it would mostly be on, like, Facebook, you know,
Yeah.
social media.
Instagram.
Mm.
I mean, a lot of the pictures that we used to do in Charlton were the kids, you know, at the story time, holding up the craft that they made, because they're so proud of, you know,
Yep.
and, you know, showing off, things like that.
Basically what we've been doing.
Well, that's
See?
good. No,
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
we're posting.
Our account is still linked, but.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, any other comments?
Thank you.
Questions? Yeah, no, ask
We
away.
need to vote?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I,
Thank you. Cool. We're down to number 6, board member comments and/or observations. I'll entertain anything at this moment. Yes, sir.
One of the things that happens as part of the routine on the agenda for the Board of Selectmen's meetings, at the end, they have updates from the departments, which normally are the police department, the fire department, the treasurer collector, and water and sewer. It's my thought that the library is a department, and that at least on occasion, we should have something that we could present or make known to the selectmen. Again, trying to strengthen that connection between the selectmen, this building and that building, if you will, letting them be reminded, and whoever the viewers might be of the video, that the library is there. It is part of town government, and we are open and available. And I know that, the water and sewers people are out there open and available, as you can see on the roadways, they're very available. So I think we need
So-
that bit of availability.
Yeah, for programming.
I like that idea. Would you be willing
Yes.
to do it?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna get to that
Because,
question.
no, you go to
You're
the
there that
meetings
often.
regularly.
Yeah.
right.
Again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, you're there, just
And
step
I
up.
would
Right.
hate to have Cheryl sitting at a meeting for
No, no,
5
no, no,
hours.
no,
Then nothing
no.
pertains to what
No,
the
no.
But he's interested in a lot of town stuff.
Thankfully, they don't go
goes.
for 5 hours.
Well-
The snoring would be absolutely obscene at the 5-hour mark. It can be, well, it's not must-see TV, let's leave it at that. It
could be a little long
It can
in
be
the tooth.
tedious at times, there's no
Yes, it
doubt
can
about
be.
that. But I would check with Cheryl, see if we've got something that we want to make known to the world, to the public at least.
Thank you.
I'm trying to get these guys down there, or get them to know that down there is really there, and
is
make
part of
some
them.
connection, yeah. You know, so that if the question ever comes
Excellent.
up again, they'd be among the first to say, that's absolutely ridiculous, we need that library, and we're gonna keep that library.
So have you approached any Board of Selectmen
I-
to be the guest reader on the Monday night story
No, we
times?
haven't. One of the things I would do is I would check with Michelle in terms of making sure that they were willing to accommodate that as part of the agenda, because that's something they haven't had in the past, and they might say, well, we don't want these things to go on as long as they have been as it is, so
I
we
don't
don't
know
want
if
it
they
on.
would do it.
I'd be
because Monday
surprised
nights
if
is
they would do
selectmen
that.
meetings, so, yeah.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if they do it Monday nights as selectmen meetings.
Why not?
It's not every Monday.
To go
though,
down
is
to
it?
the. get
Oh,
me a
no,
guest
not
reader.
down, go down there, I mean, just to make it.
No, to go
No,
and
I'm talking
read.
about guest reader.
Oh,
They don't meet every Monday, do they?
the next one will be on the 18th,
Yeah, I
it'll be
think it's
joint,
every
They take
Every
a-
other.
they take a-
approximately.
That could be one of your first
Your first
comments over there.
request that we're-
Invite them
we're
to come down and be
looking
a
for
guest reader.
Okay.
We're buying you a T-shirt
No,
with
no,
books on
that's,
it.
I'll be there at the 18th meeting, because it's a joint meeting with the planning board, so, no problem.
Oh, that's
And
great.
if there's some good stuff we can throw at them.
And we will always have someone there to help with the craft or whatever. Well, you know, but just to be
take
in the
their picture.
presence, yeah.
So again, I will check with
Good,
Michelle,
thank you.
see how that fits into their agenda, as I don't want to just show up and,
You mentioned that the firemen were at the library reading.
oh, yeah, we'll try to bring that along, yeah.
We're all working
What was it?
I
together.
was
it
just
by
gonna say
name?
the police chief or one of the
Do we have the firefighter by name, or?
Is it Paul?
Was it Paul? No, I'm guessing Paul.
Yeah, it might have been Paul.
Was it Paul Konechny?
Yeah, I think
They,
it
they
guessing it
actually
was
read
Paul.
on a Tuesday.
A morning.
During the day at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, they couldn't come at night, they did it during the day, but it was Fireman's Week or Prevention
Yeah,
Week.
if we don't know exactly who, I would just say
No.
a firefighter.
Firefighter.
Because if I get the name wrong, though,
Tar and feather.
something like that, probably. Crazy glue or something. Okay, so we're looking for readers for the Board of Selectmen or
It's always
anyone.
support.
a town department, doesn't have to be.
No, any
It
town,
can be any
anybody.
department,
Anybody.
the town clerk wants to come and read, or,
The public,
assessor.
public
The
in general,
assessor's
just to make a
office.
public statement as far as that's concerned, and then maybe we could mention that, we have an upcoming event for,
Exactly.
That
just
would
to
be
Be the
more,
billboard for the events.
90 seconds, then we're done.
Excellent.
oh, Mr. Dudley.
They got, if you look at the video of the last meeting, I was the only one out there. And they started off by saying, no one ever comes to these meetings. They said, oh, well, there he is, he's out there. I thanked them for the promotion. I went
There you
from
go.
nobody to
Somebody.
somebody. yeah.
I'm somebody,
so
okay.
the only change I would like to see made for the guest reader on Monday nights is, I think it says 5:30 to 6:30, and it really clearly isn't, and I don't think that's good for parents, working parents anyways.
So what time do you usually
We've been
start?
doing like 45 minutes. So
Okay,
5:30 to like 6:15. So I think
Oh,
it should be
okay.
changed
Shorten it
on
up.
the website and all that, because
I
I don't
was-
want
see,
people
I-
coming thinking they're gonna be there, and then we're done at like 6:15, and they're like, oh, this is it?
And those who kind of want to linger, we always linger with them and
Yeah, there
we
are people
finish
that
up the
stay.
crafts, and if they want to do so,
And
we
they-
don't
they
leave
tend to-
until.
They tend to stay
Some
and go out into the
do. We have a
children's
few who
room.
stay and a few who have got to get to karate.
Yeah.
you
But
don't-
it's
you don't-
nice, we do have some people that are steady, like there are
Good.
4,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 actually, that are consistently
yeah.
been coming.
And you don't find that 5:30 is too early for some?
I
I
would
always
say
work
we
till
don't
5
start
o'clock
reading
by the
till,
time I
we
got
don't start
home.
reading until like 5:40.
Yeah.
So, because 5:30 was too early. So we say it
then-
starts at 5:30, people come, the kids start
Yeah, I
warming
wouldn't-
up.
I
And
wouldn't
then-
get it too much later because
Yeah.
Right, then you're going
it
into
just
the
doesn't
bedtime.
happen,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't come.
Yeah.
Because they can join in, because occasionally
Yes.
they'll join in and just come in, they're
Yeah.
getting used to it, they just come in and sit down, play with the toys.
So
Cool.
I definitely apologize for the mix-up this week that there was no reader. I felt really bad when I found that out today. So.
All righty. Any other comments or observations?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wasn't at the library this week yet. And I know you, sorry, go for it. Do we put up any decorations for the season?
They're doing-
Hanukkah, the menorah?
They're doing it as we
Christmas tree?
speak.
Oh, that was
They're
my
doing it.
question. I
They're
didn't see
doing it as-
anything last week, and I was like, well, I wonder when they
Oh, no.
do
It
it.
went up today.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I want to celebrate all. I'm not trying to do just one holiday.
But again.
Just one, you know.
We've had a couple days where there's only been 2 people in the building.
Yeah.
Working.
I understand
And they've
that.
been all
That's
over the place
why-
and they just, I got the tree up, Ben.
But
It's
that's-
bare, but it's up.
But that's
I
why
got
I
the
was-
banners, it's working. I said, yeah, you're doing it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's why I asked, because
Yeah.
I would have volunteered to
Yeah,
come
no,
in and
no.
set up a tree, or
No.
if you needed
Oh,
something.
there's a tree. Well, in the children's room, there is a tree.
It's
And
all- it's
the
all
lights are
happening.
positioned next to it,
It's all
so I
happening.
assume that they're going on shortly. but-
I was in the library today when and Cheryl had to go do something in the kids' room. And then Ann's walking that way. You're in charge, Ben, because they had to go that way. The 2 of them to go that way for a couple minutes. I said, okay, fine. But I mean,
It
that's
was
how.
only the 2 of us today, and Ann was at lunch, and so I was covering the desk, and I was putting away some things in the children's room, and the phone starts ringing, and I'm like, running.
Yeah. It will be nice. Next Monday, Lena's in the mix. It'll be nice. We're growing back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
It's happening. It's happening. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I had one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, Richard and I were kind of talking one morning and about some different ideas, and one of the things that we talked about was a charging table or a charging station.
Yep.
But then, after you left, I started looking at it more, and why can't we just buy these chargers where you can charge in multiple devices at the same time? We have those beautiful tables that have the lamps on them.
Yep.
You can
plug it
plug
in.
it right into there and have a charger on those tables for people.
Absolutely.
I would say yes, but I would say we shouldn't supply cords. I don't wanna be
No,
responsible.
no, no,
Everybody brings
I
their own.
agree.
You bring your own
Right, I
cords,
agree.
we're
We just
just
have
the stations.
charger that they can plug
Yes.
into.
They
And
have
how-
something in Webster, I'm trying to think, I believe I've seen it in Webster. And I think it has cords coming out.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm not
wouldn't,
mistaken.
I don't wanna be responsible for replacing cords and,
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
And do our tables have the drops that go down into plugs below? And I'm only saying this because if we plug something in right into the lamp, is somebody go, oh, I could use one of these at home?
Right, and then it
And it
disappears.
disappears.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd have to glue it to the table or
Yes,
something.
but I mean, if it goes through the tables, because
Right.
everything's, we have
Yep.
electricity on the floor. If it goes through the tables, I think they won't think about it quite quickly as much because it's, where, how do I unplug this thing, you know?
have we
If it's
had
plugged into
problems
the
with theft?
Not that I know of, but I'm just thinking that's just
Yeah,
very
no, I-
obvious. It's
yeah.
the base of the, and it's plugged in right there, because,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Just
more
thought-
likely people would forget
Their
thing.
phones.
I know at the airport, I mean, you know, I was there with a friend and she ended up leaving her stuff stuck into the side of the chair as it was, you know.
That is not something I would forget,
No, I would
especially
think,
at an airport.
I
Like,
would think sitting at the table, if you have it right there in front of you, when it's time to get up and go, you
Hopefully
take
you
your
would
stuff.
think-
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily expect people to leave their phone and just leave it there and walk away.
So how many do you think we need?
I would say start with 4. And I actually did approach the Friends of the Library when I saw
Yeah.
the chair in the library this morning, and she thought it was a great idea, and they said that they would
Go for
pay
it.
for them.
And so you're saying 4, and are you placing these all in the adult side, or?
We can look to see where, I was just thinking that just because of those lamps, you know, that it was
Right.
easy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
if
yeah.
we're gonna do it the other way.
I don't know, you may not have a long enough cord to go through, who knows?
Yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
just,
well-
just check it out, but I think it's a great idea.
I mean, they're only like $30 a piece, I mean, they're pretty
Yeah.
cheap anyway, so we can get more.
You
if
may
we have
want
to.
one in the kids' room,
children's room.
because
Parents.
moms are in there and dads are in there
Right.
watching the kids do stuff,
Right.
and
Right.
they want to plug in.
Right.
Because they will go, if we have them only down there, we won't have them watching their
Good
kids.
point. That leads us to another problem.
Exactly. Let's at least have one down there for them.
When I go in tomorrow, I'll look to see where we can put them.
Yeah, good, excellent. Cool, all sorts of good things.
Charge your phone, charge your car. One-stop shopping.
Charge your brain.
Charge your brain too, excellent.
Very good, that's number one.
That's the third
That's
stool,
number
that's the
one.
third leg on the stool, right?
There it is.
There you go.
I don't think there's been a day where I haven't seen a car charging, so.
Oh, really? It's been a long time, it looked like there was no activity out there.
Yes, I agree, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yes. All right, anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we adjourn.
Made.
26.
At 7:26, Richard made it, Pat seconded it, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, and thank you, Cheryl.